We're not going to be talking about the historical background to Unesana Tokef. I'm assuming that you're all familiar with the story of Rabbi Amnon. The reason why I'm assuming you're all familiar with it is because you probably own a Arskro Master, or you've heard the story before at some point in time. So I don't feel the need. Not everyone has source sheets. You need source sheets? Yeah. So I'm assuming that everyone is familiar with the story by Rav Amnon, and therefore I'm not going to be going over that story. And the context is a very powerful story. I encourage everyone to know it, but that's not what I want to do right now. If you want to know more about that, you can just read the historicity of Unesana Tokef. What I want to discuss instead today is trying to understand it in terms of its basis from Tanakh, which is a totally different way of looking at it. And hopefully, though, it'll be a little bit insightful. So, let's take a look at the actual text of Unesana Tokef. So it begins, Unesana Tokef Kedushas Hayom, Hu Norav Hayom, Ovo Sinasei Mochusecha, V'kon B'chesed Kisecha, V'sei Shala B'emes. This is one of the focus of the piyut that we say on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which essentially describes the Kadosh Baruch Hu being the judge, how he recognizes everybody, and there's going to be this great moment. And it's a very strange phrase that all of a sudden the text gets into. And what is that? So take a look. Shofar gadol yitaka, v'kol demamad haka yishama. All of a sudden there's like noise of the shofar, and then the text tells us then there's a kol dumad haka yishama. There's a quiet, silent moment. Umalachim nechafezu, and there's all this energies with this noise, shall we say, with the angels, and there's going to be fear. Why is there fear? Because when Kadosh Baruch Hu comes, when God's presence is felt in the world, the angels, as well as human beings, shall we say, ricochet and are scared, terrified back. And that is what this piyut goes on to explain. And who's going to survive? God's presence is so palpable. It's going to be a very awesome and powerful moment. And who's going to survive? Who's going to live? Who's going to die this year? Okay. The question is, what does this phrase mean? Kol demamad haka yishama. Because it's very counterintuitive. If there's noise, then there's noise. What is this silence that the piyut seems to describe? So the context of kol demamad haka yishama, which by the way is a little bit of an oxymoron. How can you hear a kol demamad haka, right? How can you hear a demamad haka? The answer is very simple. It's not a matter of what you hear, it's a matter of feeling. There's something about this moment. So can anyone tell me in Tanakh where does this come from? Where is it called the demamad haka? Where is it to be found in Tanakh? The famous story of, anybody know? Of Eliyahu. Now, in source number 1 is the super duper famous story where Eliyahu has this showdown on Har Carmel. Are you familiar with this? The showdown on Har Carmel, where you have Eliyahu fighting with Nivei HaBaal. Everyone familiar with this story? Yes? No? I'll explain it very quickly. Where the Jewish people, if you take a look, Eliyahu screams and yells at them in Pasuk Kaf Aleph, it's source 1. V'yesh Eliyahu al kol ha'am, he screams at the people. What does he say? An masai atem poschim al shnei seifim. Im Hashem elokim l'chu acharav, v'yibal l'chu acharav. Meaning, the Jewish people were both serving and worshiping God. At the same time, they're worshiping Baal. And as a result of this worship of Avodah Zarah, what does Eliyahu decide to do? He places a drought on the entire kingdom. Who's the king at the time? The king is Achav. Who's his infamous wife? Yezebel. Good. And what happens at this moment is there's a lot of pressure put on Achav, on Eliyahu, because he's responsible for this drought, which is quite troublesome. And of course, the obvious question is, why Dafka? Is it a drought? Why does he produce a drought? Right? That's not fair. The answer is, if you know anything about ancient Canaanite gods, the Baal god represented, according to the Canaanite culture, was the god of water, the god of storm. And the Asherah was his wife. And the Asherah god represented the god of fire. Okay, Asherah, okay. So I don't want to go through this, which is why it's in small font. But essentially, Eliyahu has this showdown, and what ends up happening in this showdown is the Nevi HaBaal bring a korban. It is not accepted by God. Eliyahu does this whole show. His korban is accepted, and then in the end, Eliyahu comes and he slaughters the Nevi HaBaal. In response to fire coming down and consuming Eliyahu's korban, what do Bnei Yisrael say? Hashem hu Elokim. Hashem hu Elokim, which is a very powerful moment. I could talk a lot about that, but not for now. And with that acknowledgement of God's presence, that's, by the way, we also use that at the end of Yom Kippur, right? That's what we say at the end of Yom Kippur. Hashem hu Elokim b'Shema Yisrael. That's the context. Okay. They tried to run away. He beats them up. Okay. Now, turn the page. Page 2. All that is background which is necessary to understand page 2. What is page 2? Page 2 is the next parak. I want to play one of my favorite games. My game is, where have you heard this before? We're going to read Parak Yud Tes. And as I wrote at the top of the page, does anything seem familiar? If we come across a very familiar story elsewhere in Tanakh, let me know what it sounds like. Okay? Understand the game? And why? Because the intent is, if you understand the context of what's going on in the story of Yud Tes, you're going to appreciate eventually when we get to it the Kol D'Madaka. If we had more time, I'd read this first, go over it a second time, but we don't have time for that. So we got to do the first reading, both the first time you're reading it and to play the game of wherever you read it before. Let's begin. Next parak. Vayaged la'achav li'zevel es kol asher asa Eliyahu ve'kol asher harag es hanevim b'charav. So again, at the end of the showdown, Eliyahu comes and he slaughters the Nevi'ei HaBaal. Vatishlach Izevel malach el Eliyahu. Izevel, who's Mrs. Achav, sends what's a malach here? A messenger, and says, Ko yasun Elokim v'cho yosifun. Anybody know what does that expression mean? What does that mean? Ko yasun Elokim v'cho yosifun. What does that mean? It's a lashon shavua. It's a promise. Now look, usually it's in lashon yachid. Why is Izevel saying this in lashon rabim? Because she's a polytheist, right? So she's swearing in the name of multiple gods, i.e., thus I'm swearing. Kol Yisrael Elokim is lashon shavua in Tanakh. Ki cha'is machar asimas nafshacha kenefesh echad mehem. Izevel, who is sends a message, sends an email, right? To Eliyahu and says, what you did to Nevi Baal, I'm going to do it to you tomorrow. This time tomorrow, you're a goner. Just like you wiped out the Nevi HaBaal, I'm going to wipe you out as well. Next pasuk. Vayakam vayelach el nafsho. So Eliyahu, what does he do? Vayar, he sees. Vayakam, he gets up. Vayelach, and he goes el nafsho. Anybody know what that phrase means? Vayavo be'ershava shel Yehuda v'anachas sinarosham. Anyone know what that phrase might mean? Anybody? I think those girls know we're giving a shiur. I don't know if they realize. Maybe you can tell them they can come. They don't have to come out of that class. I'm not so sure. Anybody know what? Anybody know what this phrase might mean? Vayar v'yakom v'yelach el nafsho. No. So it's an expression. If someone uses the expression vayelach el nafsho, what do you think that means? Vayelach el nafsho. What would that mean? Want to take a guess? Vayelech al nafsho. Probably he's running for his life, you know? If you were just told that you're going to be killed, what probably would the next pasuk mean? I'm hiding, right? I'm running away. So he gets up and he runs. Probably it means here, it's not a spiritual thing, but running for his life, right? Vayavo Beersheva. And where does he run to? He runs to Beersheva. Ashir Yehuda Vayanach es naro sham. And he leaves his lad there. You want to take what's going on here? Isn't that strange? Isn't that very strange? Well, first of all, na'aro. What is he as a na'ar at all? What the Torah, the Nevi'im are telling us that he leaves his lad there. I didn't even know he had a lad. Who's this lad? Why is a Navi telling us something which is totally irrelevant? What's going on here? Ladies, where's only a place in Chumash where someone goes and leaves a lad that's connected to Beersheva? What? Kids did talk. We just read this in Shul the other day. Right? When did we read it in Shul? Friday morning. I'm sure you were all there. So, the Torah, the Navi, is screaming at us. Where have we read these words before? The answer is the Akedah. Register that in the back of your mind. The Akedah. Why is the Navi telling us to think about the Akedah when it's describing Eliyahu? But this is also very interesting. Because look at the sequence. Where does Beersheva fit into the sequence by the Akedah? Anybody know? Okay, don't guess. Turn the page. Page 3 at the top. Look at Beersheva. I try to underline it for you. And look at leaving the lad. And tell me what's the parallel and what's the contrast between the two. I'm going to make you work. It's not a freebie. Look at the parallels between the two. Okay, true, there's no Vayar, although there kind of is. Just not right there. I underlined it in Pasuk Dalet. There is a Vayar. The verbs of Vayakam, Vayar, Vayakam, Vayelech do appear, both by the Akedah and by Eliyahu. The Na'ar appears, leaving a Na'ar appears, and Beersheva appears. But there's a major difference between... Okay, true Avram has two lads, right? One referring to probably Yishmael, one referring to Yitzchak. That is true. Good. But there's a greater contrast. Yeah.
So the Navi is saying that Yaakov Beersheva, that he came to Beersheva like before the whole episode happened, and Avram goes to Beersheva after it.
Okay. Awesome. Very good. So we see there's a parallel, but there's a reverse parallel. It's almost an inverted parallel, no? Why is Beersheva at the end? By Avraham, it's by the end. In the beginning, it's by Eliyahu. Something else which is very interesting. What's going to happen? What's going to be the height of this moment with Avraham? What's the height with Avraham? What's the pinnacle? When Avraham stands at Har Moriah, what does the angel say? Al tishlach yadcha l'na'ar. Don't touch the lad. Al taso me'umah. I know you're great, Yerei Elokim. Gives him a bracha. Actually, an angel, by the way, that actually gives him those messages. Where's the great epiphany by Eliyahu? Take a look. Let's continue reading. Pasuk Dalet. Fu halach b'midbar derech yom. Oh, we have to play the game again. Where have you heard these words before? Fu halach b'midbar derech yom. He's traveling the desert. He's traversing the desert for one day. Vayavo vayeshev tachas rosem achad. He sits under a rosem tree. Vayishal et nafsho lamus. And he wants to die. Vayomer Ravat Hashem kach nafshi lo tov anochim avosai. Yonah. Isn't that amazing? Tree, dying, I want to die. That's classic Yonah. That's this Shabbos. Right? Good. We're going to come back to the Yonah story. We're going to read it in a second. Vayishka vayishan tachas rosem echad v'hinei ze malach nogeh bo v'yomer lo kumacho. So he falls asleep. Where else do we see Yonah trying to fall asleep? On the ship. Good. Comes an angel, and this is Eliyahu. So here's a guy, his name is Eliyahu, he's under a tree, he wants to die, and comes an angel. What does this angel do? Touches him, get up and eat. What's going on here? So Yonah wakes up from his slumber, and what does he see? Cakes. It's a bachas mayim, and a canteen. Gets up, sorry, he eats, he drinks, lies down, goes back to sleep. Angel returns a second time. Get up and eat. You have a great journey. Right? You're about to undergo a very, very long journey. You gotta get up and eat. What's going on here? Why can't the guy sleep and wake him up? Very strange. Gets up, eats, and drinks. Vayilach, and he goes. Now he has strength because he just ate. Arba'im yom v'arba'im laila. He now, because he eats, he's now able to function for 40 days and 40 nights. Ad har Elohim chorev. Until he gets to chorev. Wow. What sounds familiar with that? Who else doesn't eat for 40 days and 40 nights and gets to the mountain of God? That is Moshe. What's going on here? Parallels to Abraham, to Yonah, and to Moshe. Let's continue. Vayavo shamel hama'ara. How would you translate that phrase? Vayavo sham, he arrives there to... How would you translate hama'ara in English? Careful. How would you translate it? You know the answer to this question. It's not your question. What? Hama'ara is the cave. Why is it strange to say the cave in this context? What are you talking about? What cave? Now you appreciate... Look at all these pages. They're all like crooked, eh? Sorry. Go to Surah 5 at the bottom. It's a Gemara Megillah. Ma'ara sha'amad ba'Moshe. Kisha'avagadosh baruch hu lefanav. We just read this yesterday afternoon. Yesterday morning at a Tani Sibur. Shenemar v'samticha benikras hatzur. You know the famous story which we're going to read in a second, when Moshe stands on the crevice of a rock and God's going to pass before him. Hashem karachim v'chanun, right? So at that moment, he's in the Nikras Hatzur by the Ma'ara. Says the Gemara, Eliyahu afhu amad ba'oso Ma'ara va'avar hadosh baruch hu lefanav. Shenemar v'oshamel hama'ara. What's the Gemara saying? Rashi is just explaining it better than the Gemara. What's it saying? What's the Ma'ara? Same cave that who once stood there? Moshe. When did Moshe stand there? At this very important moment, when he saw the glory of God pass over him. And what did God instruct Moshe? About the Yud Gimel Midos Harachim. Interesting. What's going on here? Go back. So again, parallels to Abraham, Yonah, Moshe. And what moment specifically? Akedah. Yonah is a little bit unclear, perhaps the whole, not that it's so long. And Moshe specifically when? In the aftermath of Chet Ega, when he begs for mercy for the Jewish people, right? He begs for mercy, and God teaches him, He forgives them, you give them midos that you're all familiar with. Let's continue, please. Pasuk Tez. Vayalan Sham goes to sleep. V'yineid Hashem elav v'yomer lo. Ma lachaf Eliyahu? Hey, Eliyahu, what's up? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? What's Eliyahu doing there? I don't know. He's told to go there. He doesn't know what he's doing there. V'yomer. Look at his response. Kano kinesi laHashem Elokei tzvakos. Says Eliyahu, I'm a zealot. I'm jealous a zealot to God. Ki azvu berischa b'nei Yisrael es mizrosecha harasu es nevi'echa hagu b'charev. What does Eliyahu say? God, I'm a zealot for you. The Jewish people have abandoned your covenant. Question, ladies. The previous parak, when all the people in the aftermath of this great showcase showdown at Har Carmel, and they say, Hashem Elokim, Hashem Elokim, did it work? Did it last? The Jewish people go back to their old ways? Appears they did. Eliyahu, as a Navi, says, I'm done. I give up. God, I'm a zealot for you. The people have abandoned you. They've forsaken you. They've given up on you. They are not loyal. I want to die. Who's the only frum person around? Ani vayivaser ani levadi. I'm alone. No one else. There's just me. God, just kill me. I can't live in this world. I'm faithful. No one else is faithful to the bris. Chutz mimeni. Vayomer tzei v'amarta v'har lifnei Hashem. Go, get up, stand by the mountain. V'hinei Hashem over, and God will pass before you. V'ruach gedola, a great wind. V'chazak, mifarek harim, this wind will be so strong it smash mountains. U'mishaber slaim, it can smash rocks. Lifnei Hashem. What does God say? Lo beruach Hashem. God is not in the wind. V'charuach ra'ash, thunder. Lo v'rash Hashem. I am not in that wind. I am not in that thunder. V'charuach eish, and there was fire. Lo v'eish Hashem. God is not found in fire. V'achar ha'eish, and after the fire, kol demama zaka, silence. And where is God found? In that silence. Vayishmoa Eliyahu. When Eliyahu hears this, after this great epiphany, after this great moment with God, Vayale panav badarto, he takes his face and he covers it with his cloak. Vayetze vayamod pesach hamara, and he stands by this opening of the mountain. V'nei elav kol vayomer malchav Eliyahu, and he hears a sound. And once again, Vayomer Kanoki Nesler Shal Gitzvagos, Kiz Rufi Scham Nisad B'Chazach Marasa was Esn V'Yachal Guvachar V'Yasar Nilavati V'Yavakshur Neshel Gacha Vayomer Hashem Elav Shuv L'Darkecha Midbara. Go out to the desert. Damascus. Where's Damascus? Syria. Go to Syria. Go get the chemical weapons. V'Vasa Mashal Et Chazael Melech Al Aram, and go anoint Chazael the king of Aram. That's Yehu ben Nimshi Timlach Melchal Yishal Yeshua ben Shafat Avel Mechulad Tishmach LeNavi Tachtecha, and go appoint Elisha, the new Navi, instead of you. Now, if you're told to go appoint a new Navi, what probably does that mean? That you have been replaced, retired, gone, you're done, you're finished. This is a very powerful moment. This is where God needs to teach Eliyahu a very powerful message. Does Eliyahu get it or not get it? He doesn't get it. He's forced into retirement. What's the message that God wants to teach Eliyahu? How does that message connect to Avraham, Yonah, and Moshe? Follow? Just need to figure out. Now, see, Tanakh is beautiful. Do you know why? Because Tanakh says very little, and in the words of saying very little says a lot. You don't need Mefarshim. That's what's great about Tanakh. You don't even really need Mefarshim. Just look at the words. The words say everything, 90% of the time. Mefarshim just help you kind of clarify things, especially in Tanakh. What? So again, remember, when they're writing Sefer Malachim, it's assumed it'd be so obvious. You read Sefer Malachim, and all these words and patterns would jump out at the page at you. I mean, it's so obvious, right? I mean, I'm not saying anything that's so complicated, right? It's clear that they're all pointing. Remember Avraham and Moshe and Yonah. Now, am I supposed to compare to Eliyahu or contrast to Eliyahu? So let's look at one more thing to help us. Turn the page. Who else, after having an epiphany from God, has to hide their face so they can't handle it? Bottom of page 3. Who is that? Also Moshe. Remember by the Sinai? Take a look. Vayar malach Hashem ela balabas eish fire. Mitoch hasinah vayar v'nei hasinah ba'eish v'asenen ukal. V'yomer Moshe asur navaret amar gadol zeh meduloi v'asinah v'yomer Hashem salaros. V'galav ha'alokim mitoch hasinah v'yomer Moshe Moshe hineni. Right? What does he do? Look at the end of Vav. Ki aret mabit alokim. He couldn't look. He covers his face. But look at the order. When does that happen? Interesting. At the end of this is before the great moment. This is when Moshe is just like a rookie. When Moshe is chosen to be Navi, he can't look at God. It's too much. Interesting. But Eliyahu has to take his cloak already. He can't look at Hashem. He has to cover his face. Turn the page. Once again, Moshe is told, just jump please to the underlined section. You cannot see God's glory, right? Look at Yurches, jump to Yurches. 2 psukim please before the underlined section. Oh, 1 second. Just go to the Lamed Beis at the top there on page 4. What is Hashem? When Moshe is told that God will wipe out all the Jewish people after Chet Egel, what is Moshe's response? What? Absolutely not. Do not wipe me. Moshe says, I'm not interested in leading the people, starting a new nation. I'm interested in leading the people. Does Moshe believe in Bnei Israel? Or does Moshe give up on Bnei Israel? He fights for them. He says, what do you mean? Hashem even says to him in Lamed Gimel, no, I'm not going to wipe you out. Who sinned against me, I will wipe out. Start again, start a new people. And Moshe refuses to succumb to God's request. Moshe defends the people. Eventually, if you want, go to Lamed Gimel, now back in that underlined section. The glory of God will pass before Moshe. Yurches, Yom Harei Naskodecha. Moshe says, I want to see your glory. Again, these are complicated psukim. Oh, my goodness will pass before you. The karasi v'shem Hashem l'fanacha. I will call out in front of you. V'chanosi asherachim v'rachamti asherachim. I once spent, I think it was 3 years ago, I did a 3-week series on trying to understand these few prakim chumash. So I'm not going to do that right now. But again, the idea is, I will give grace in front of the people that deserve grace, and I will give mercy upon those people that are merciful. V'yomer lo suchal you can't see my face, you can't live. I'll stand with the rock, and I'll pass before him when you see my back. Okay. Again, what exactly this means, it's not for now, but at the end of the day, it's God's glory passing before Moshe Rabbeinu, and Moshe will get to see as much as he can. He'll maximize whatever he's allowed to see, which means to understand, to comprehend of God. And that's what happens. The Yud Gimel Midos of Rachamim, right? Where there's Slicha and there's Mechila. Okay. And we know, of course, and I said this before, Moshe, of course, spent 40 days and 40 nights, and he did not eat on Har Sinai when he was writing the Luchos. That's what that underlined section is later on at the bottom of page 4. What I'm trying to show you is, that there's key parallels to Moshe Rabbeinu and Eliyahu. But there's a major contrast. I believe, just like with Avraham and Akedah, the parallels are there, but they're inverted. The verbs of I believe this is true, of Avraham are inverted, right? By Avraham it's Vayakam, Vayelech, then Vayar. By Eliyahu it's Vayar comes first. Beersheba clearly is switched. When it comes to Moshe, again, Moshe has the fire in the beginning, towards the beginning of his life. Eliyahu is going to have this fire towards the end of his life. If you go to Yonah, let's go to the Yonah parallel. Yonah first is going to encounter a storm, and then he's going to have a tree, right? That's on page 5. The storm is going to be in the first parak. That's at the top of page 5. And by the way, you know, it's in Vayir HaMalachim. These are sailors. But by Eliyahu, there's actually messengers, right? It sounds like the same word. And when it says Ravlach, it's the Rav HaChovel, who's the person who approaches Eliyahu. Who approaches Yonah. I think it's pretty neat. Well, also, by the way, it's supposed to take 3 days to get to Nineveh. It only takes him 1 day, just like Eliyahu is supposed to take 3 days. It only took him 1 day too. Clearly a parallel to Yonah as well. And so I think what we see here is that what the Torah wants to do is contrast the lives of these 3 great Nevi'im to Eliyahu. That you have the following contrast. And then here's a message from the son of Tokef. Here we go. Avraham. Let's begin. Avraham's life was dedicated to helping other people. It was a build-up of the crescendo to get to the Akedah. By Eliyahu, we see it's the exact reverse. Meaning, Eliyahu's strength, Eliyahu's great moment ends, and what happens afterwards? Retirement. He's finished. Goal point deletion. You failed. You failed to recognize something. There's something that you missed. Moshe Rabbeinu. Can you believe it? Moshe Rabbeinu is told the Jewish people are over. They're done. They're destroyed. I'm going to erase them, eradicate them, and hit the reset button. Comes along Moshe and says, no way. I'm not going to stand for that. Absolutely not. And Moshe's taught a very powerful lesson. I'm a Rachaman. Hashem really wants Rachamim. Hashem wants the people to change. God says, okay, I got to teach you something very important. I'm going to change the relation that I have with the Jewish people. It can be changed. Sure, it can be changed. This is how it's done. This is how it can be. Moshe fights for the people. Contrast that. By the way, sorry, Yonah. What does Yonah say in the beginning? I'm not going to Nineveh. I'm running away. What does he do eventually? Very powerful story. He eventually has to go to Nineveh, give them some type of tochacha and musar, and the people change. Some sort. Eliyahu, he says the opposite of what a Navi should say. Most Nevi'im should say, yes, the Jewish people have abandoned your covenant. I am the only person left. Oh, contrast that with Avraham, to Moshe. Or, by the way, to Avraham, turns out Sodom and Gomorrah. He tries to fight, at least he tries, attempts to save people. Especially the contrast to Moshe. Moshe says, don't live with the people, let them live, let them survive, let them keep going, right? Eliyahu's like, yes, the only from person around, wipe out everybody else. I want to die, I can't handle it. A powerful message. Kol demama daka. It's the moment of silence. Not about fire. By the way, the storm that happens with Eliyahu, very similar to the storm of Yonah, no? Very similar to the same storm. How does Eliyahu die? How does Eliyahu die? He ascends up in a fire. Sa'ara. Berichveish. V'susayesh. He's up with a fire, with a storm. Moshe dies quietly, right? Kiss of God. Eliyahu goes out with fire and brimstone, and totally different. It appears that why did the Paitan choose to include this message in the son of Tokef? So yes, Rabbi Amnon, the whole thing. I think the message is so powerful, and this article doesn't talk about it. And that is, the message is that this piyut is saying Eliyahu is Moshe and Avraham are right. Yonah is taught a very powerful message. Eliyahu says the Jewish people have abandoned the covenant and they deserve to be destroyed. I'm a Kanoi, I'm a zealot, I'm Eliyahu. Comes along with tefillah. It says, it's true. It could be that every single member of this shul has abandoned God. Could be. But it doesn't matter. It's about rachamim. It's about giving another chance. It's about fighting for people who deserve to live another year. It's about trying. It's about hope. It's about opportunity. It's about turning things around. It's a matter of, that's what it's all about. Because Eliyahu was wrong. Eliyahu was forced into retirement. That's why the emphasis of Midas Arachim, especially Yom Kippur. Because it's about Moshe. We are all, it's almost as if the Shaliach Tzibur is getting up in shul and screaming and shouting in a very powerful way. Because scream and shout by saying Eliyahu was wrong, that's just going to be weird, right? Instead he evokes Psukim in Tanakh. The problem is it's Chazal assumed that if you read these words called Madaka, you'd get it. Right? It was so obvious for Chazal. So obvious. And, okay, fine. Chazal didn't write Kol Madaka. I didn't make Piyut. In the medieval ages, it was obvious when they made tefillos, slichos, kinos, anything that they made, the order of tefillos, it was obvious when they pulled psukim from Tanakh. For them, it was obvious what the message would be. Right? That's not the case today, which is where we have to, keep rabbis in business. Right? So, which is good. So what I think here, what the message is, that on Rosh Hashanah, on Yom Kippur, we say to ourselves, when we get up in shul, are we going to be like in Eliyahu, saying only the front person left? Or the opposite, saying no. It's true, we're not. Moshe doesn't argue and say that people are tzaddikim. In fact, you know what Moshe argues? Ki am kshe orefu v'salachtu lavonenu chatenu unchatanu. So a machlokes rishonim how to read it. But I always like to interpret it the following. Despite the fact, even though the people are stubborn, forgive them anyways. What do you mean God wants to destroy them because I'm kshe, and now you're saying I'm kshe, that's why they should be saved? Beautiful Ramban. The Ramban says yes, this is exactly why. You know why? Because stubbornness also is a good aspect to it. Stubbornness also gives you a tenacity not to give up. Being stubborn can be good. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up on the Jewish people. I'm not going to give up on myself. I'm not going to give up on my family. We can change. We can be better. I'm not going to accept status quo. I'm going to fight it. And that, I believe, is the beauty of Unisana Tokef. Because that's the message, I think, that lies behind this entire piyut. So when God's presence arrives and the world is shaking and rumbling because who's going to live and who's going to die, that is the moment of, it's about Kol Madaka. It's about silence. It's about quiet. It's about pondering. It's not about noise and fire and brimstone. It's ultimately about that quietness of a sense of self-reflection, trying to say, you know what? Let's be like a Moshe. Gilgul Midos of Rachamim, and not like Eliyahu at Hara Carmel, who probably at the end of the day is unable to affect change in the Jewish people. As opposed to a Moshe and an Avraham, but for sure an Avraham and to a Moshe Rabbeinu, who really try and are able to create something which is revolutionary in terms of the relationship with Klal Yisrael and God. With that, have a Gemara Chassimat Tov, everyone.